Hey, what's up guys, this is Roy Rocky and welcome to Post Game. There was a lot of games tonight, exactly 12, and there's a lot of good games too. Some upsets and some high scoring games. So I'm gonna go through them all. Make sure to drop a like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you don't miss out on any of the video on this channel. And then guys, let's get straight into this video. The first one's gonna be the Boston Bruins versus the Anaheim Ducks in Boston. And I predicted the Ducks to upset this game, and they did not. They lost in a shootout, so it was a little 50-50 there, but I was close. Anaheim got a point, which is nice, but they need to start winning. They have not really won any games yet, and they're going to fall behind soon. I feel like the playoff hopes are honestly already gone, even though it's just the beginning of the season. I feel like this is what's going to happen the whole year. Is honestly, they're just going to be like a mid team. And Boston, they got a good win. It wasn't a great win, but they'll take a win. They'll take any win on home ice. Ullmark looked good, which is nice for the Bruins. And hey, this is the first game they did not score more than like 5, I think. So that's they know that they can win a game with not scoring 5 goals. That's huge. That they can get the goaltending now. So they got the confidence that they're 4-1. I did not expect this from the Bruins, and they're doing really good right now. Up next is gonna be the Arizona Coyotes versus the Montreal Canadiens. Montreal won this game 6-2. They smacked the Coyotes. Shots were pretty equal, but once again, I feel like it was the goaltending right there. But Slavkovsky scored his first goal. And when he did, he mean mugged. I don't know who it was, but he mean mugged that guy. Whoever it was, he mean mugged him hard. He's screaming in his face. It was awesome. It was awesome. It was a good shot by him. Caulfield put the puck in the net again, which is just, he's unreal, man. He's unreal. A lot of people, he's too small. It does not affect this man. It does not affect this man. It's perfect coach. Honestly, Martin St. Louis is perfect for Caulfield. This is exactly what they needed. Hey, and they've been putting the puck in the net, and they're a good young team. They're 3-2 right now. They just beat the Penguins the other day. They can beat these good teams. Obviously, Arizona's not the greatest, but they'll take this win all day. On home ice, too. So, that is a good win for the Montreal Canadiens. All right, huge upset alert. Buffalo Sabres versus the Calgary Flames. Buffalo won this game 6-3. Let me say that again. The Buffalo Sabres beat the Calgary Flames in Calgary 6-3. What are we doing? What are we doing? Eric Comrie, again, 40+ saves. He is saving the team right now. But once again, one player that I said I needed them to step up in the beginning of the season, and that was Rasmus Dahlin, and he scored in every game so far. This is what they needed. This is exactly what they needed. And the young guys are putting the puck in the net. Cousins scored, Middlestat scored, Alex Tuch scored, and Dahlin scored. This is unreal, man. Unreal. Tuch actually got a hat trick. I didn't know that. Tuch actually got a hattie, which is huge for him because he's technically like one of the veterans on the team. But yeah, Buffalo, they just made, what is this road trip? They just beat the Oilers and the Flames. It is absolutely crazy. What NHL are we talking about? But once again, they do start really hot early, mostly every single season. So hopefully they cannot fall off in the middle, and maybe they can make a run to the playoffs. Like somehow, if Comrie can keep this up, obviously I really doubt he's going to keep up 40 saves a game, and like 925 save percentage is going to be crazy for him to do that. But hey, they're winning these games right now. And here's another huge good game. I'm expecting this one to be a banger, and it was. Carolina Hurricanes versus the Edmonton Oilers. In Edmonton, Oilers lost their last game to Buffalo, obviously. So a lot of people are saying they're going to lose. But I actually expected them to win this game. I knew they were going to win. They're going to come back and beat this very good team. It was 6-4, high-scoring game, which is awesome. We love to see that. But Hurricanes, this is a tough place to go. Yeah, you really can't blame them. It's a tough place after they lost against a mediocre team. So they were going to come out hot. Svechnikov scored a hat trick, but it sucks for him that he had to lose in that act. But hey, they got the depth scoring in the Oilers. Draisaitl scored, McDavid scored. Like I said, I knew they were going to, and they did. Literally all their top guys basically scored. Kane, Hopkins, Nugent Hopkins, Draisaitl, and McDavid. So they look really good, and if they can keep this up, I think they're going to put this. They're going to make a run off of this game because it's just huge momentum beating a very, very good, probably the best team in the Eastern Conference. So this should give them some momentum to maybe pull ahead in the Pacific. Up next is another disappointing team for me. Nashville Predators versus the Columbus Blue Jackets. They got outplayed, and they threw another lead. They're up 3-1 in the end of second, and you lose 5-3. You let in 4 goals in the third period. What is happening? You're 2-3-1. Your only 2 wins are against the worst team in the NHL, the San Jose Sharks. Like, what is happening? What is happening? I don't get it. Johansson scored, Trennan, but like, what happened? I know Gaudreau had a very nice goal, and he scored twice tonight, but this can't keep happening. You guys got to get these wins because the Central's going to be very tight, and you're going to look back at the end of the season and be like, damn, we should have beat the Blue Jackets. You know what I mean? Like, you should have won these games. So hopefully it doesn't bite you in the end, but as of now, it's not looking good for you guys. It's not looking good at all. And I know Saros didn't play this game, but your goalie still put up 37 saves. Like, you can't allow a backup goalie to save 37 shots. You know what I mean? So, hey, Johnny Gaudreau's putting the puck in the net. I didn't expect him to be this good so far, and he's doing it. And the Columbus Blue Jackets are pretty solid. They play Pittsburgh next, so if they can beat Pittsburgh too, that'd be unreal because Penguins are playing very well right now. So we'll see what happens there. But hey, I gotta give my props to Columbus. I have to. And now we're going up the Dallas Stars versus the Toronto Maple Leafs in Toronto. Toronto Maple Leafs cannot, like, every game is a 1-goal game. It's always close. It's never them winning 5-1. It's not like that right now. Every single game is super, super close, but they found a way to pull this one out. Their offense was shooting on all cylinders. They had 43 shots. Samsonov looked solid, and so did Wedgwood on the Stars side. He looked very good. This game could have got out of hand, but he made some big timely saves, and it was a good play in overtime. The Robertson goal from Matthews to go 3-on-1. Nothing he could have really done there, but hey, Robertson scored twice with his family against his brother too, so that's awesome. That's a huge good moment. That's a very heartwarming moment right there. But hey, it's good for the Stars. Tyler Seguin scored because they needed to get him going because he hasn't been the greatest in the last couple of years. But Toronto, they got a well-needed win. They needed that hugely. I doubt they're gonna be in the home games because they've been in the last like 3 games. They've had home games, so I'm guessing they're gonna be on the road soon. So they gotta get the points up because right now this Atlantic division is looking tight right now. So they're looking very tight. But hey, it's a big win for Toronto. And Dallas, you still look nasty. It's your first loss of the year in overtime. You still haven't lost a regulation game. And yeah, you played a very tough Toronto team, so you'll take that point any day. Up next is the Pittsburgh Penguins versus the Dallas Stars. If you look at the scoreline, you would have thought Penguins dominated. And honestly, they really didn't. First period, we're up 3-0 Pittsburgh, right? 3-0 Pittsburgh. But LA dominated the period. Honestly, I think that this game was all about goaltending, and the Penguins got the goaltending. Jari was unreal. He had a shutout until the last 2 minutes of the third period when the ref gave a power play. It was a little lucky bounce right to the slot for them to score. So Jari played out of his mind. I think this is why the Penguins won this game. But hey, it happens sometimes. And you put the puck, you still scored 6 times. You know what I mean? You still scored 6 times. So you really can't say it was just lucky or whatever. So it was a huge win for Pittsburgh. They needed that big bounce back after Montreal. And now we go play Columbus in Columbus. So it's going to be a tough game right there. Hey, the Kings aren't looking terrible either. Kings aren't looking terrible. They got to get more. Their power play was not on today at all. They scored in the last power play, but they had 6 power plays. So Penguins need to stop getting penalties. It's crazy what they do. But Kings need to start scoring the power play more. But hey, they got a lot of shots. They just couldn't bury it past Jari. And sometimes that's going to happen. Sometimes the goalie's going to be too good. So they've been scoring a lot recently, but today was just not the day. Up next is a game I actually called. I predicted Islanders were favored in this game against the Devils. And I predicted the Devils to win. And they absolutely dominated this game. 43 shots to 17. And honestly, it wasn't even close. No power play goals, but it went to Long Island and showed them who they are. I did say Jack Hughes is going to score, and he did. Hischier scored as well, which is awesome. Palat put up 2, and the Devils got a well-needed win after 2 rough games. And now, hey, they're looking solid now. That's good. See if they can keep building this momentum and bring it to the next couple games because they need it. You can't keep being streaky. So if they can keep this up, it'd be huge. You can't really base this game off of anything really or not. The shots weren't there, but hey, they'll take this win all day. It's a tough barn to go in and win pretty dominantly, honestly. So it's pretty tough to do that, and they did it well, and they'll take that any day. And now a huge upset: San Jose Sharks versus the New York Rangers. San Jose 0-5 went up to New York against a very good Rangers team and put them in overtime. And what a play by Erik Karlsson in overtime. He dangled like 3 people. He fell, gave it to Meyer, and put the puck in the net. I was pretty sure it was an open after. He did like a little wraparound little move. But hey, Sharks, they got the win. They did it. Like, they could have beat all these mediocre teams. Then they go to New York against the second best team in the Eastern Conference and just beat them in overtime. It's crazy. But they did it. And there's a huge win. Maybe they can build off of it. Who knows? Their team's not the greatest. But it's momentum. It is momentum, and it's well-needed momentum at the right time because they need this. They can't lose it. They can't go 1-9. So there's a big win for them. But Rangers, honestly, I guess you lost to a really bad team, but it's a tough game to go into. If I'm being honest, it's a tough game to go into playing one of the worst teams in the NHL. But it is what it is, and at least you got a point from it, so it's not too bad. Up next is the Washington Capitals versus the Ottawa Senators. Ottawa had 45 shots. Capitals had 24, and the score was 5-2 Ottawa. I did predict this, and Ottawa scored only 3 goals in the first 2 games, I'm pretty sure. And last game they put up 7, and I did think they were going to do that again, and they did. They put up 5, a lot of goals. And honestly, Washington was up 2-0 and Ottawa scored 5 straight, which is huge for them. Jake Batherson popped off, Pinto scored, DeBrincat and Tyler Mott. So it's good. DeBrincat scored his first goal as a Senator. I'm pretty sure it was an empty net, but it is what it is. You'll take anything you can get. But hey, young guys are putting the puck in the net. Ottawa is looking pretty solid. It's momentum. It is momentum. Momentum is the biggest thing in the world, and maybe it's happening right now for them. Up next is the Vegas Golden Knights versus the Winnipeg Jets. This is a tough one for the Jets to win, honestly. It's tough to play a very good Knights team after you beat the Stanley Cup champs in their own barn. So it was a very tough one to win against the Knights, and they led in 4 in the first period. So honestly, after that, the game was pretty much over. 5 scores, 5-2. But hey, they'll take it. The Knights will take it any day. They look very good, and I don't know, they're looking scary, and they're getting the saves right now, which is even worse for the league. That's scary. But the Knights are getting saves. Eichel putting the puck in the net, put up 2, and yeah, that's scary. If the Knights keep playing like this, Stanley Cup champions, is it a possibility? I think it honestly is. Let's be real. If they keep getting the saves and their star players are scoring, they can win the Stanley Cup. Up next is the Vancouver Canucks versus the Minnesota Wild. 2 teams that have been very disappointing so far in the season. And Canucks, they weren't up by 2 this time. They're only up by 1. And they did end up losing again in overtime. I just don't get it. They had 2 leads in the game. 2 leads, and they lost again. They were down 1-0. They were up 2-1, 2-2. Then they were up 3-2. They lost 4-3 in overtime. Cannot happen. Bruce, I'm being honest. You have 0-5 basically. You're going to get fired soon. This team's too good to not have a winning game in 5 games. You're going to get fired. I'm telling you. If you lose the next 2 games, you're gone. You're done. If you start 0-7, you're done. So it is what it is. Some depth scoring scored on the Canucks too. And Zuccarello popped off. Kaprizov scored the overtime winner. But I'm disappointed. In the Canucks. Wild, they got a well-needed win on home ice. Finally, the fans would have rioted if they lost again on home ice 4 straight. But hey, Canucks, I don't know what's happening. It is disappointing once again. I don't know what to say. It's just disappointing. All right, guys, that is gonna be this video. Please don't like, subscribe if you guys do enjoy it all. Hit the bell and stuff like that. I'll see you guys later in the next video tomorrow. Much love and subscribe, baby.